Hey guys, it's Jaya today.
It
We are going
that
to
stood out the
reacting
most
to
to me,
scary
and I was
stories from the web.
to achieving
So
it.
grab your
I talked
snack
to my
and
parents
enjoy.
about my
And
future success plan. They supported me and had amazing feedback. I was eager to become a model, so I did something dumb and decided to apply myself to a modeling company. A week later, I received a call from a woman. I specifically remember what she said to me. "Hey, are you Sarah?" "My name is Saida." I correct her by saying, "It's Saida, who is this?" She goes, "I wanted to contact you about the email I sent you. We're here to schedule a photo shoot." In surprise, I responded, "Oh really, ma'am, thank you so much." The lady replied, "Yes, honey, believe it. I've helped girls become very successful. We are located in Manhattan. Where I live, New York is close but expensive." She claimed, "I'm sure your mom would understand that this is a wonderful opportunity." I was worried about how my parents would react, but excited. The next day, I brought it up to my dad, and he said, "Saida, who was this person? Did you reveal your personal information to a stranger? You can't do that. You're going to get hurt," he screamed at the top of his lungs. Later, apologized for yelling and stating, "I just don't want you getting hurt." I had made a dumb decision. I was naive, impulsive, and impatient. That same month, I watched a video on this lady's website. It was about a young woman named Kara Nichols. She was 18 and had a passion for modeling, and later joined some random Craigslist modeling app. A supposed photographer sent her an email wanting to meet up. The photos taken of Kara are the only evidence she was seen alive. Her family is still grieving. This lady has been missing since 2012. Later, I found out the modeling company I applied to wasn't legit and was a scam. I also clearly remember the woman replying with, "To this day, it still sends shivers down my spine. Well, we're not an agency. We just pick out girls we think are a fit for us, so we just want you." At first, I thought that was a little suspicious. Thank God my parents didn't let me go.
I never believed in the supernatural. I wanted to, but never felt afraid of it. Years spent scaring friends and watching horror movies that even my parents refused to watch. And each time I felt nothing. Not scared, just excited. If you were to ask any of my friends, they would tell you that I was the most fearless person they knew. I would make jokes about how I could summon the devil himself and he would be afraid of me. However, that all changed pretty quickly. My teacher had just reminded our class that there was a school excursion coming up. This was a Friday afternoon. That particular week, I became very interested in communicating with the dead and demon summoning rituals. This reminder from my teacher made me think of a clever prank I could play on my friends in order to scare them. I decided to purchase a Ouija board. I made a plan to bring it to the hotel we were all staying at in order to scare them, or at the very least, annoy them. I ended up ordering one right there, in class, before we left for the day. I found one pretty quickly, actually, an old wooden Ouija board for no more than 15 pounds. I told my friends and laughed at their reactions. Most of them were creeped out and got annoyed, but in a funny sort of way. They started joking around saying how they would throw me out of the hotel with the Ouija board if I actually did bring one. However, one of my friends looked horrified as they told me just how bad of an idea it was. I told him that I didn't actually believe in ghosts and that this wouldn't actually work. Even if it did, I couldn't care less. I'm fearless, right? Luckily, the Ouija board would arrive in the mail on Saturday. I wasn't concerned about my parents saying anything about the Ouija board. They also don't believe in this stuff and will just label it as a useless wooden board. I was so excited when I woke up on Saturday, and the Ouija board had already come in the mail. I hugged it close, excited for all the fun I was going to have messing with my friends on our trip, and ran to the kitchen. I sat at the table and I opened it carefully. Inside was the slightly old wooden board with its metal pointer, and, to my surprise, there was a strange instruction guide full of text. I have 2 younger sisters, and just then they both walked through the kitchen. I had told them the night before about my plans for the Ouija board and that it would arrive that day. They both weren't too fond of the Ouija board being in the house and thought my idea was going too far, especially the youngest. She made sure to let me know that she wouldn't even touch the thing. They glanced over at me to see what I was doing, and once they saw the board, their faces turned to fright and they ran out of the room. As I read through the instructions, I had a strange feeling. Something didn't feel quite right. It creeped me out just a bit. There were so many rules, so many warnings and dangers filled the pages. I shook off the feeling of unease. At the time, I didn't realize just how important those rules were. Immediately after reading through the guide, I decided to play with the board. When beginning the session, I did all that I was supposed to. I followed all the rules written in the guide and stayed polite and calm when asking the spirits questions. But no matter how much I tried, nothing happened. I would try, wait, and then get nothing. Again and again, and still no response. Eventually, I got bored and ended it by saying goodbye. I left the board on the counter and continued on with my day. That evening, my mom and my 2 siblings went to the cinema, leaving me home alone. I didn't care. Being alone wasn't a big deal because I wasn't scared of anything. In fact, staying at home alone was one of my favorite things at the time. I was sitting in the living room just scrolling on my phone. That was until I heard a loud crash and bang. It made me jump. Did that come from the kitchen? I went to check what had happened. I was cautious and all, but still not scared. I assumed something had fallen on the floor. I looked in the kitchen to see what had fallen over. That's when it happened.
Okay guys, thanks for watching and subscribe and like for more.
Taking farther than Mexico. You still got niggas hard pressed to you though.